Let's talk to an actual Liverpool fan. You may well know him as the Bear from Fox Sports. Chris Fallica is with us. Chris, welcome into the show, sir. How are we doing?
We're doing okay. We're doing okay. We've gotten into June and World Cup is now upon us, and yeah, a little bit of news there, and Liverpool making the change, which I think almost was inevitable as we saw the results at the end of the year.
Chris was in the comments when we dropped the Steve Nicol post about making the move from Slot to Iraola. He was like, "It's a no-brainer, but I'm not sure if they'll do it." I think I was the one to break the news to you that it's happening. How do you feel that it is actually happening now?
You don't want to say I feel good about it because I think all of us as Liverpool supporters need to, thank Arne Slot for bringing the Premier League title in his first year. That's a hard situation to walk into, inheriting Jurgen Klopp's side, winning in year one, but at the same time, year two was a complete debacle. You can't lose three matches in a row by a 10-1 margin to City, Forest, and PSV. You just can't do it. And I think the signs were there that not only did he lose the fans, he lost a lot of the locker room. I mean, you can read between the lines with Curtis Jones and obviously Mo Salah's post as well. Once you do that, there really is no going back. And I just think this was ultimately headed towards if you keep him and you have this hanging over the squad the entire summer, and then you start slow in September, you've not only wasted last year, you've wasted this season as well. So I think it's one of those, you got do it a year earlier than a year late, and hopefully now with Iraola coming in, things will be on the up next season.
I'm glad that you did mention about Slots the year before, though, because I think there's been so much focus on where the fall off was too. Like, he inherited a team who'd finished fifth and third the last 2 years, who had crashed out of the quarterfinals of the Europa League. Like, there had been a lot of talk of he did it with Jurgen Klopp's team, but the first season was a sensational job. Was there any part of you that thought that he could turn it around if he was given the opportunity?
I think there was a chance, but it was a risk at the same time. You saw the moves that they made, and it didn't necessarily work. I think that the biggest issue I had with my concern for him being able to turn it out was the way you were unable to replace guys, the core, like the guys that would like do anything for the Liverbird on their chest, the Harvey Elliots, the Kwanzas, the Curtis Jones is probably going to be gone now. Tsimikas not replacing Luis Diaz properly. Like all of that left me with concerns, and the style of play. The only thing being worse than being mediocre or bad is being boring. So not only were they mediocre this year and probably bad, definitely towards the end of the season when you had 4 wins, like the final 15 fixtures over the course of the season. Not only were you mediocre or bad, you were boring. And I think people would rather see a 3-2 loss maybe than a 1-1 draw at times, because I think people yearned for that excitement of what Jurgen Klopp era was, and now hopefully with Iraola we'll get a little more of that. But do I think he could have potentially? But I think the toothpaste was out of the tube at this point.
Sam Matterface, our commentator, loves himself a cheesy line on these things, and I love Sam dearly, but he said, they were begging for heavy metal music, and instead of turning up the volume, they just changed the DJ. It does feel like Andoni Iraola, though, is like, if we watch what he's done at Bournemouth, and there are question marks, if you look at the injury history under him over recent seasons, the intensity of the level of football has proven that it's been difficult in second half of the seasons, and there are some things around there that I think fighting on four fronts may be a difference, but the style of football is undoubtedly something that Liverpool fans should enjoy.
Oh, absolutely. But what you said also, there's no guarantee that this is going to work. You have succeeded at Bournemouth. You've taken them to Europe for the first time and survived massive changes to your squad. Your best player is leaving for big program like Liverpool, you leave for City, and you're able to replace those guys and still perform at a high level. So that is optimistic that he can kind of mold and adapt. And people, I think, are anxious to see what he can do with a high budget squad like Liverpool, but there's no guarantee they'll be able to handle the pressure and under the microscope of this side as well. I think obviously he's going to be given a year, a little bit of a grace period now because he can't just constantly turn managers over. But I think we are all optimistic now. Maybe now he's the beneficiary of hopefully a healthy Alexander Isak. Maybe he can get Alexis McAllister to perform the way he did in 24, 25. Hopefully, the biggest problem they're going to have is the back line. Like, what do you do now? You lose Ibu. Andy Robertson is gone. You're relying on Leone coming in and Connor Bradley. Who knows if he's going to be healthy? Yuga Katika, is he going to be? They have massive injury concerns. Guys coming off major injuries on this side that there's no guarantee that these guys are going to come back close to the players that they were. But losing the players they did on the back line and seeing how they were just so vulnerable on the counter towards the end of the year last year, that's going to be, I think, the new manager's biggest task is trying to sew up that back line because they do have some concerns there.
Is there a dream player for you in the summer transfer window that you feel whether would fit Iraola or just a player that you're just eyeing that needs to be on Liverpool's squad this summer? Who's your guy?
I really don't know. I think the biggest I'll give you the position. Like they need to go out and shore up a replacement for Louis Diaz. They need a winger to go out there with the work rate that he had that can run, because now you're going from a style of play where you had Bournemouth and the work rate that they had and the number of meters covered, one of the most in the league, I think, if not the most in the league, to Liverpool being outrun and outworked in all their matches. That was certainly a storyline throughout the year. So they need to find someone on that wing who can go up and down and work the way Luis Diaz did. That would be number one. And then number two, I think, would be finding some type of holding defensive midfielder as well, because I think that's a position that they're really lacking in right now as well.
Want to shift attentions here from Liverpool to USA, of course, home nation, host nation of this World Cup. And
USA.
I mean,
get back in the positive
mindset. There's reason to chance and reason to be slightly optimistic after a 3-2 victory over Senegal and friendly in Charlotte. And hey, that first half looked pretty good.
Yeah, no, it was certainly optimistic, and I think anytime you can get a result like that and you can put goals on the board in a friendly like that, when this is one of the last times that you're going to be able to step on the field in I don't want to say a meaningless competition, but something like a pre-match warm-up, that was certainly optimistic. And I think you look at the group, Turkey has some injuries on their side that maybe makes them a lot more vulnerable than they may have been when we all saw that Turkey was going to be the UEFA qualifier to take that space. I mean, Paraguay is a good side, but when we saw the group come out, it was like, oh, USA should win this group. And then it was the series of results and seeing the group come together, like second or third might even be on the table. But no, I think there is. And obviously, as a home nation, you get a little bit of home cooking time. You get a home whistle. You get some calls here or there to help you along the way. You get the backing and the support of the country as the tournament goes on. I think anything less than winning at least one. I think winning, you have to win one knockout round match. That would be, I think, the bare minimum for this side. If you can win one, get to the round of 16, I think you can probably say, okay, it was a successful tournament. I know if you ask them truth serum, I think that's probably the goal. Obviously, I think they're hoping for a quarterfinal or so, but I think one knockout round win and you can feel good about where they were.
The Bear giving us the bare minimum.
What did you make, Chris, of the very memeable moment from the first half where during the drinks break, Mauricio Pochettino gets his laptop out and starts showing them plays? It looked like something out of an NBA timeout rather than something out of a soccer or a football match. What did you make of all of that?
Modern technology, it's great. Yeah, I was going to say it's like the NFL when you go to the sideline, you got the tablet on the sideline, and you're getting the photos down for the good. Anything you can do to advance and make learning and teaching and showing things visually better, I am all for it. I thought it was pretty cool.
I often cite this when I talk about the NFL being so much better at sponsorship and commercialism than any other league in the world. The fact that the tablet on which they use for that, and also for the American football equivalent of VAR, is sponsored and branded, is still to me one of the most, like, that's how football should approach it. It should be like, if we're going to VAR, let's at least slap a whichever logo on the back of the screen and make it a thing that somebody's paying for the rights to have. Like, so, some good old-fashioned American commercialism for you there.
It's about time you celebrate.
I'm on board. I'm finally on board. It took 4 weeks of hanging out with you every day.
But Chris, I want to ask Chris, are you on board with England? When you talk about the World Cup favorites, how do you feel about England? And if you aren't, who are you going in feeling like is the favorite to win?
England as the side, I'm fine with. I liked what Thomas Tuchel said in response to the criticisms about his side makeup. Like, it's not always about the best players. It's about the best team and having complementary players to fill certain roles. So I did not mind the team construction. I thought it was fine. I just worry about the route. You assume they're going to win the group. Mexico will probably win its group. And then you're looking at a round of 16 matchup at Azteca with Mexico. Like that is a brutal path to have to take, not only with the opponent, the atmosphere, the elevation, the heat. You're better than Mexico, but can you advance in that tie? Maybe. And if you do, then your next match is against Brazil in Miami in the quarterfinal. And that's more weather concerns of heat, humidity, and probably a very pro Brazil side in South Florida. So I would be surprised if England were to advance past the quarterfinal. I think the side is certainly talented and very capable of doing so, but that is a very difficult round of 16 and quarterfinal path for England to manage. I still think France is the best side, even if William Saliba can't go. I know they maybe have some current concerns there on the back line, but I think the rest of the squad around them is great. I think they should be able to get to at least the semifinal, and I think that the winner of that France-Spain side will probably be the very rightful and deserving favorite. I think obviously the biggest wild card is Portugal, and if they can manage to win that group that they have with Colombia in it, there's no bigger reward in this competition than winning that group and getting that lower right-hand draw through the round in the knockout round. That is a very, very easy path to the quarterfinal and potentially the semifinal. So I think if you're looking for someone outside of France and Spain, someone on the other side of the draw, Portugal would certainly be that side with that great midfield and then Diogo Costa in goal.
Listen, Chris, nobody wants the team that get the easy route to the final. You want to be the PSG. You want to have to gone through the Bayern Munichs, etc. of the world if you get there.
You make it to the final.
What I'm hearing is it's coming home. That's what I'm hearing. Listen, if people aren't familiar with the great Chris Fallica's work, we asked the English question. You are a betting expert. You deal on that side of it. Obviously, sports gambling, absolutely huge over here as well. We've been workshopping the idea of a feature. Call it Poke the Bear or Grin and Bear It, or something like that. You've already given us. We're going to ask about an outside bet with Portugal. So what else do you like for the World Cup? What are the other kind of props, etc., that you're keeping an eye on and you particularly like?
I think I told Master about this one in our friendly chat that we're a part of. Jeremy Doku to win Golden Boot at 80-1 was something that I liked as well. He certainly showed an ability to finish at City later in the year. And I just talked about Portugal's route path to the quarterfinal. Belgium has a very manageable group that they should win as well. You win that group, then you're going to get a third place side in your first match. Maybe I think someone maybe along the lines of like Czechia or someone might be that potential team. Then you win that, and then you're either going to get the winner of the U.S. group or the third place side if that winner manages to get knocked out in the round of 16. So you're looking at Portugal with a very good path to the quarterfinal as well. And I know Doku does not take penalties. I know that's Lukaku and De Bruyne. They're going to take and that's always something you want to look at in the Golden Boot market. But I think Doku, it offers a little bit of value there. If you're looking to get a little bang for your buck, I think 80-1 there might be something that might be worth a play.
Chris, you're absolutely allowed to say route instead of route. That's fine. I did also notice that also noticed that you went with a semi instead of a semi earlier. You're fully embracing the English language as it should be spoken, and I'm enjoying that greatly.
Well, I think something that I've learned is the local knowledge, because I got to cover and work the Masters golf tournament in Augusta, Georgia for many, many years. And you need to learn that it's not fans, it's patrons. It's not front nine, back nine. It's first nine, second nine. It's not groups, it's pairings. So you need to learn all of these things to kind of show the people and the organizations the proper respect that they deserve.
Trust me, I do NFL play-by-play, and I know very well that if I said defense instead of defense at any point, or if you start to get that language slightly wrong for the ear of the listener that knows regularly, then suddenly you are showing yourself up immediately. So I appreciate it, so I truly do.
Yeah, we try. And, the other thing that I had looked at in terms of one more bet, I took a little stab at Morocco to win Group C there at 5-1, just because I don't know if that Brazil side is a great Brazil side. I think their midfield is a little bit lacking. The fact that Morocco get Brazil in the first match, they can manage a draw there. Then you're looking at basically who can pour in the most goals against Haiti and Scotland as a tiebreaker. So that first match, get a draw, see what happens. And Morocco is certainly a side that you can have whatever opinion you want about what happened in AFCON, and then in the debate there about whether Senegal should have been stripped or whatever. But I think Morocco, with the talent that they have, certainly can eke a point out at least a point out in that first match, and you might be real live there, 5-1.
Hey, I'll take Morocco in the quarterfinals in Miami. That's fine. That's fine.
I see a lot of people pointing at the Netherlands as a dark horse team as well, and I've seen some people pick them to win the tournament. How are you feeling about the Netherlands right now after their World Cup roster was released?
It always seem like they disappoint, and again, the years change, the players change, but it just feels like at some point they don't manage to pour in the goals. They're looking for that the prime goal scorer. On defense, they look very, very solid, and you got Dumfries who can come up and support there. But it just feels like they always seem to disappoint. And I can remember being in Joburg in 2010 for ESPN covering the World Cup final, and they were certainly in that match, but ultimately could not topple Spain. But I've liked them in the past in certain competitions in Euros, but I can't quite get there for some reason with the Dutch.
I get it. They are a bridesmaid team. Look, Chris Fallica,
so
absolutely sensational stuff from you. 100%. Chris, I can't argue. That's the problem. I can't sit here and be like, I don't have his brashness. I can't sit here and claim Arsenal are the best team in the world like he did for the last 3 weeks.
Best champions England. We know who we are.
Anyway. Chris, wonderful stuff from you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for getting up bright and early.
I appreciate you. And we didn't even have time to get into my SEC Prem versus my big Power Four conferences in college football. And someone actually asked me about that, about going into the Champions League final, about should the strength of the Prem give Arsenal the edge. And I said, well, the Prem is like the SEC, top to bottom, it's the best, but you've got these other teams and other leagues that are better than the best teams in the Prem, so you can have fun with that at some point, too.
Maybe we'll just bring you on next time and chat some more about this. How about that?
We can do this again, don't you worry. Absolutely. Don't you worry. The Bear, the brilliant Chris Fallica joining us on the S Word from talkSPORT. Still to go, we've got a few more things that we haven't broken down yet. We haven't talked about the other World Cup warm-ups. We haven't talked about that USMNT match. We just heard from Chris on that. So still plenty more to come on the S Word. Get involved in the chat on YouTube at talkSPORT S Word or via X or Instagram. Just get in there, get in the comments and give us some stick.
From kickoff to the full-time whistle, talkSPORT presents the S Word.